Great. Well, one of the things I found out is that stress is one of the leading causes of most of the degenerative diseases today. Is that right, Krista?
Absolutely correct.
Nutritional expert? Health expert? Yeah. And what is one of the biggest stresses out there? Money?
Lack of money.
How about lack of money?
Yeah.
I mean, I love having a lot of money, but lack of money I find really stressful. And as a matter of fact, when Krista and I first got together 21 years ago, last month, yeah.
We're laughing because I corrected him last night.
Yeah, I said 20 this month, but it was close. There's nothing to stress about, right? So we had a lot of stress in the form of the lack of money. We didn't have money. As a matter of fact, we had a lot of debt. We had the worst kind of debt too, is that credit card debt, consumer debt. Can anybody relate? I mean, it was like big. It was big for us. It was $50,000+ of credit card debt. We both came from families of very modest, I mean, you know, wooden spoon in the mouth, not the silver spoon, right? And you know, our families weren't going to make us rich. We weren't going to inherit money. We didn't play the lotto. We didn't have high-paying jobs. There was no way we were going to pay that debt off. We were facing a pretty bitter end, and you know, it got worse every month because I opened that statement, and there it is, and there's the big number, and it says these days, it says if you pay it off over 28 years making a minimum payment, you owe more than you started, you know, something like that. It was just really, really bad, very, very stressful. Come to find out that lack of money is the cause of a lot of marriage breakups, family arguments, and on and on and on. Just
heart disease.
Heart disease, really, really bad. So, because we didn't have an obvious way to pay it off, we looked around and we said, well, what are we going to do? Well, first of all, I knew working in a job, working to build somebody else's business, somebody else's wealth, somebody else's dream, that wasn't a good option. We knew we had to have our own business, because if you have your own business, at least there's a chance of getting ahead and making some money. Now, the thing is, we know a lot of people, even today, that have their own businesses. Maybe they're, you know, personal services, accountant, massage therapist, whatever. They have a retail business, but they're not getting rich either, it looks like, because true wealth involves money, of course. It involves health, which we've already talked about. It involves relationship and community. You know, that's a real form of wealth. I mean, who wants to live by themselves in isolation? And it also involves time. Time, that's wealth. Come to find out, quite a few, probably most people are time poor. Time poverty is rampant. You know, I know lots of guys make lots of money. They are so time poor. The kids don't like them. Their spouse is probably thinking about something else, and you know, even the dog doesn't like them. The dog runs the other way because they're miserable because they don't have time. They have money but no time to enjoy it. And you know, one of the big lies out there in society that I found out, I turned 60 this year. Last year. You know, I'm time abundant, right? Got plenty of time. I don't care anymore. One of the things I found out was that, and I love my father, so this is absolutely no disrespect, but he gave me what in those days, 40 years ago, was good advice. And the advice was, okay, go to school, get a good education, go to work for a good solid company, work there for 40 years, and then they'll retire you. Well, I don't know about you, but that advice today, you know, again, no disrespect to my father, but that's not good advice. I mean, I wouldn't tell young people that. I wouldn't say, get an education, go to some big company and, you know, work there for your career. That's highly unlikely, highly unlikely. As a matter of fact, today, in the old days, my dad had one job, a car, a house, 5 children, and a wife, and he could do that on one salary. Today, it's multiple people working, and they're still behind. So something shifted in the world. Something shifted in the economy. It doesn't work like it used to, and I don't think we'll ever go back to those days. I don't see that happening. So the name of the game today is own your own business. However, not just any old business. Because again, if you're in personal service, massage therapist, chiropractor, plumber, carpenter, accountant, basically you own your own job. You got this, you know, all these partners in your business. You got the landlord, You got your employees, you got the tax person, you got all these expenses, and you get what's left. But even more importantly, you've got to invest your time. Now, there are some businesses where you can leverage yourself, but we want to talk about a different kind of time freedom and a different kind of financial freedom tonight. So, what would it be like if you could be assured of a lifetime income enough for you to live the way you want, with the time to enjoy the money?
So imagine if you woke up in the morning and suddenly, just magically, overnight, you had all the money you needed, didn't have to go to work, didn't have to do what you didn't want to do. You had total freedom and the resources you needed to do whatever you wanted. What would you do? Would you be doing what you're doing now? Or would you be doing something different?
And to layer a little bit on top of it, what if your friends had the same situation?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool? So you guys could party together, right? You could do some fun stuff. How cool is that? Well, that's the situation that we have. And that's what's available to you.
And it's not like, if you say, yes, I want to join you, you wake up in the morning and be like that. It doesn't quite work like that. But it's just getting us into being able to imagine that. Like, I never even used to be able to go there in my mind. It was not even reality. It was like that was some fantasy land out there. And now I know it's actually real. It's actually real. We can have the life that we really want. We don't have to do something just because we have to make a living, or we have to make, well, it's not really a living, it's an existence.
Living to work.
We can choose.
See, the way wealth is created today, my father's advice was great for the 1940s, 1950s, maybe the 1960s. That's how wealth was created for kind of average people. The way wealth is created today, though, is shifted. We've moved on from that. We no longer live in that world, and like I said earlier, we'll probably never go back to it. See, a lot of us grew up understanding that a job was normal. Well, it hasn't always been that way. Like 200 years ago, this thing called a job pretty much did not exist. Pretty much people were self-employed. Now, in those days, self-employment looked like the family farm. We all kind of work on the farm and get through the winter together. And if there's a little bit left over, you could sell it. And this thing called money was not common. I mean, there was some money around, but not a lot. So this thing called the job is an industrial revolution. From the Industrial Revolution, this thing called the job came into being. And with it arose the educational system, which trains people to fit into that industrial mode. That's why my father said, get an education, get a job, and you'll be taken care of. Because retirement is an industrial age concept. Now, those things still exist, and they'll probably continue on some level to exist. But if you look at the world, worldwide unemployment is skyrocketing, and there's no end in sight. This is what they call structural unemployment. It means it's part of the economy. It's not a blip. It's part of the economy. Jobs are disappearing, going away, never to return. Entire industries are going away, never to return. We're undergoing a fundamental shift in the economy. Now, every time we've done this in the past, from the agricultural economy to the Industrial Revolution to the service economy to the knowledge economy, what happens is people drop through the cracks. If you're growing animals or crops, it would be very unlikely that you'd be able to just suddenly go run sophisticated equipment in a factory without a big shift in your thinking, your training, and all that. The problem is that these shifts are happening faster and faster and faster. You see, early on, when we were hunter-gatherers, 5,000, 10,000 years ago, it took 5,000 years to shift to an agricultural economy. That stuck around for almost 5,000 years. That's how wealth was created, growing stuff. And then about 200 years ago, the Industrial Revolution happened. We shifted from growing things to making things. Wealth was created in factories, in cities. We shifted again about 50, 60 years ago with the service economy in the 1950s, 1960s. More people made their wealth working on things than building things or growing things. We shifted again in the 1970s. Just 20, 30 years we shifted into a knowledge economy. More people make their living working with their brains and their voice, not building things, not growing things, not working on things. And we're undergoing yet another shift. And it's happening right now today. I want to give you an example of the new economy. Name for me a company that didn't even exist 10, 15 years ago, is one of the largest companies in the world. They don't grow anything, they don't make anything, they don't work on anything. The owners are gazillionaires, and they're probably under 40 or around that. And what they do is they just give away stuff. They give away valuable stuff free all day to anybody who wants it. Google, Facebook. This is the new economy, folks. This is how wealth's created today. Now that's the good news, because this opens up a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. The bad news is, if you're not one of these people who know how to do that, can you really afford to retool or retrain or put your life on hold and go be a guru around that stuff? Probably most of us would say no. Maybe you're not temperamentally suited for it. I'm not. I don't have a lot of talent or interest in that stuff. However, there are strategies that I can use, that you can use to access this new economy, to actually be a winner in the new economy instead of a victim. Instead of one of those people who falls through the cracks during this Great Recession, you know, the last Great Depression, it was horrible. People just, were pretty dire. Well, that's going on again. That's no big news, right? You look around the world, it's happening. And if you look ahead, I don't see any good. This recession, this depression could go on for another 5, 10 years. There's no hope in sight. There's no big thing out there that we're all waiting for that's going to shift it. So what are you going to do? What are your children going to do? I feel really bad for the younger people. They're getting out of school and there are no jobs. They're starting families, they have high expenses, and even if they are in some of the technology fields, the jobs aren't there. So what are these strategies and how can you adopt them? Well, let's look at what a company like Facebook and Google do. Again, they don't make stuff, they give away information, and they give it away for free, valuable information. And I would suggest you're already doing this already in your life. And I'll show you how. You just haven't figured out a way to monetize it. They figured out a way to monetize. They figured out a way to make money doing that. And all of us do it already. I'll give you an example. Somebody invited you today to come here to listen to this message. They gave you a piece of information, valuable information, particularly if you act on it. How many of you have ever gone to a restaurant or watched a show or listened to music or read a book and you recommend it to your friend? Hey, I know you like Thai food. Look, great Thai restaurant over there. All of us have done that. That's part of the definition of being a good friend. We share good things with our friends. We also tell our friends about stuff that doesn't work. Like, I know you're into Thai food. Forget that place. It's really bad. Right? Anybody not done that? You share stuff with your friends? You're giving away valuable information, like Facebook, like Google. However, maybe you haven't found a way to monetize it yet. Now, this industry we're in is called network marketing. It's a worldwide phenomenon. It's a young industry. It's over $150 billion a year. It's not a small industry at all. $150 billion a year. Over 100 million people worldwide in over 100 countries worldwide. It is a new economy business model. What do we do in network marketing? Well, we build virtual networks that can be global networks that distribute information, and it creates a monetary stream. Let me explain how it works. Let's say I find a great product, Body Balance or weight management program, and I recommend it to my friend. I say, Manfred, look, I know you've been trying to lose weight, you're struggling with it, you want more energy. I found this product, I've lost some weight, I feel good, I got energy. I think you ought to try it. I think it'd work for you. And Manfred says, wow, that's great. Thanks for the tip. How do I get some? I say, well, I don't have it, but look, order it just like I do, direct from the factory. I get it at factory direct prices. There's an 0800 number. Just give them a call. They'll set you up. And tell them I sent you. And Manfred does. He calls the 0800 number. He goes online and he says, I want some of that stuff. And they say, okay, give me your payment. And they get his details and they ship it to him. And they handle his money. They handle the part, all that. I'm going about my life. Now, in the old economy, business, a lot of it looks like wholesale retail. What that means is people get a storefront, they pay the rates, the rent, the employees, the advertising, all this overhead, and they buy stuff and they mark it up and try to sell it. They hope somebody walks in and they buy it. That's the old wholesale retail model. In the old wholesale retail model, or a restaurant, for example, if I recommend a piece of sporting goods or a restaurant to Manfred, he goes in and buys it, that's all good. The next time I go in, they don't know that. They don't thank me. They don't give me something free. But in this case, if he orders these products from the company, they go, well, Michael Jude, thank you very much. We didn't have to do all the overhead. We didn't have all the buildings and employees, the distribution, all the markups. Thank you. We appreciate it. As a matter of fact, we're going to take some of that money that we would have done all that with, and we're going to give it to you. Here's a thank you check. And I go, wow, this is pretty cool. Huh. I told my friend about something I like. On my recommendation, he's trying it. If he doesn't like it, there's a money back guarantee, that's all fine. And I'm getting a thank you check. This is really cool. This hasn't happened before. I like this. Well, it gets even better because, he tried it month 1 on my recommendation, that's cool. But month 2, if he likes it, I might not even see him, he calls him up again and says, I want some more of that stuff. I'm losing weight, I've got energy, I feel good. They say, yeah, great, we'll send you some more. They say, Michael Jude, he ordered again, here's another thank you check. Hey, I'm going, wow, this is really cool. I got another thank you check. He does it another month, I get another thank you check, another month, I get another thank you check, another month, thank you check. I'm going, this is pretty good. I run into him, he says, man, I love this stuff. I got energy, my brain's working, my immune's working, I've lost weight. Whoa, I'll use this stuff the rest of my life. I don't want to go back to that guy that I was before. Now, I feel really, really good. I've told a friend about something that he likes well enough to take. I've done my friend a good turn. But I'm also getting these thank you checks. And I'm going, now, hold on a minute. Every time he orders and reorders, I'm getting a thank you check. He said he's going to use it the rest of his life. I've got an income the rest of his life. Pretty cool. And he's lost a lot of weight. I bet he's going to live a lot longer, too. Isn't that cool? Now, it gets even better, because if Manfred tells Phil about this, he says, Phil, want more energy? Want to lose some weight? Use this stuff here. Call the 0800 number. Tell him I sent you. Phil calls, sets them up. They ship him some product. They send Manfred a thank you check, just like they did for me, but they also send me a thank you check. I go, wow, I got another thank you check. Who's Phil? Oh, Phil. Oh, Phil, hey. Congratulations, man, this is really good. Phil used a couple of months. I'm getting several thank you checks over the months. He says, wow, I'm losing weight. I got more energy. I'm feeling good. I'll use it the rest of my life. I go, oh, cool. I got an income the rest of his life and the rest of his life. Huh. Phil tells Warren. Warren orders from the company. Phil gets a thank you check. Manfred gets a thank you. I get a thank you check, smaller one. There's only 100 pennies in a dollar. I get a smaller, but I'm getting a thank you check. Suddenly, they start telling more and more people. This thing starts turning into a network. It goes viral. It might be around the world. 24/7, 365, people are ordering, and I'm getting these thank you checks for the rest of their life. Now guys, I just want to invite you, what Krista said. What if you had a lifetime income, their lifetime and your lifetime? What if you had a secure income coming from doing what we already do, which is recommending good stuff to good people? They like it, they're buying it because they want it. And you've created a secure income the rest of their life. What kind of choices can you now make? I'll tell you some of the choices we've made. We get to live in the most beautiful places on the planet. We get to visit our friends as long as we want. If we want to take a month off, a year off, I got to go ask the boss. I go look in the mirror and say, boss, I I want to take a month off. The boss says, yeah, you earned it, go ahead. It works every time. The point is this: with a secure income and time freedom, suddenly your choices in life look different. If you want to go back to school and learn things just for the joy of learning, do it. If you want to work in your community, do it. You want to grow a veggie garden, do it. You want to do nothing, don't do it, or do it, or whatever that is. The point is this: the freedom that you can generate for yourself, working in a community of people who are all benefiting. This is the new economy, folks. This is how wealth is created. You don't need education. You don't need credit. You don't need money. You don't need special skills. You don't need a big contact base. You don't need to even speak English. You can do this.
That's what I love about it. Just what Michael said. What I love about this is it's equal playing field. Everybody has access to this. Everybody can do this. And the fact that we do it together, the fact that this is about empowering our community. This is about every single one of us being empowered to have the life we want to have, to make the difference in the world we want to make. And the beautiful thing about this is, that's the only way it works. See, we can't just run out and do this on our own. It doesn't work like that. We have to work as a community to make it work. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It's a whole different way of doing things to what most of us are used to.
Would you agree that Facebook and Google have created community? Service, they serve people profoundly. I mean, I love Google. I can go and ask any question and I'll get some kind of an answer back. What a service. Couldn't even dream. Even kings and presidents and dictators did not have that 30, 40 years ago. They didn't have it. We live in an age where the possibilities for human beings are almost unbelievable.
And this is bringing it right down to grassroots. Right? Right down to our, like, doesn't matter. We can do it now, here, anywhere. It's so available.
You know, this is the new economy, folks, and the way it works is this.
Where are you going like that? How much does it cost?
Okay, great question. Do you mind if I hold that for a minute?
Because what you're saying is, that's fine.
Yeah.
But in today's society, people haven't got that money to spend.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And, you know, the least thing they're going to do is worry about their health before everything else. They've got all these other bills.
Yeah.
So you've got to find people, for starters, to buy this stuff.
Yeah.
So you really got to have it at a price range that.
There you go.
Otherwise, you're not going to sell it.
There you go.
And no one's going to be able to sell it for you.
Sure. And let me let me just share how the old economy addresses that. And how we
what I
address
want
it.
to know now, we've heard enough of that. What's it going to cost us to set ourselves up?
Okay. Great.
We've heard enough of what you're saying. I want to know what is it going to cost us to run it?
Yeah.
And even to buy it off, say, Phil.
Okay. Well, as I said earlier, if you want to use this product, $11 a day to $15 or $16.
Yeah, depending on how much you want.
But more importantly, look at what you're already spending. I assume you're buying food, maybe drink coffee, I don't know. But if you rather than look at the cost, and those are the costs, let me offer you a chance to look at the value. Because see, when I look at the cost of something, I want to know the value of something, not just the cost. Because if I go to Countdown and I buy something there, what's the value of that to me and the community? If I spend $11 at Countdown, what happens to that money?
Someone else gets it.
Exactly.
But if you go to Countdown, you're going to buy something, you want it. And I know, I go grocery shopping, and I buy what I want. I don't go sitting there reading what's on the back of the packet.
Well, and that's your right in a free society. Let me suggest that what happens, if you buy, what costs $11 at Countdown? A couple of boxes of cereal? Yeah. To make those boxes of cereal, and I'm going to just do this briefly because we do have a limited amount of time. The cereal in that box may cost 50 cents. you're going to pay $11 for it. That's fair enough. I'm happy to pay $11 if I want it, if the value's there for me. But what happens with that money? I'll bet you it goes to a shareholder in Tokyo, New York, or, pick a place, Melbourne. The shareholders are getting that money. Nothing wrong with that. That system works. That's the old economy, okay? If you find value in this product and you spend the $11, you know what happens with that money?
Some will go back to you.
Yeah, and her, and her, and him, and him, and her. It will stay in your community. We have created in New Zealand, in 15 years, I'm going to say $20 million worth of revenue that's gone into this community. Hasn't gone to Tokyo, hasn't gone to London, hasn't gone to New York. Now, you tell me, sir, which is the better system? The value of being able to work, as Krista said, cooperatively, in community, empowering ourselves, the parents that stay home with their children, instead of farming them out to some daycare center so they can have a job, so they can pay for the daycare center, so they can have a job, so they can pay for the daycare center, and the kids grew up without their parents at home. I don't think that's a great system.
Well, you've got to blame the government for that one.
Well, whatever the case, I would just say this. The value of the new economy is extraordinary for average people. You see, for the first time, we can take the power. It's not the governments or the corporations that are running this thing. This was invented by people like us, for us. That's the key difference. That's the key difference.
There's another piece I just want to add too. I mean, what you're saying is very valid. The other piece that I want to add is that we mentioned earlier we've got this little thing called Got My 3. And basically, we can help anybody here find 3 people who could benefit from these products. And yours is free. I mean, it's just, we've got ways of working with it so that it works for everybody.
Yeah, and truth is, not everybody's going to find benefit in these products. I mean, we don't expect that they will. Not everybody likes chiropractic. Not everybody likes health food. Not everybody likes computers. I mean, it's not for everybody. And this new economy is not going to be for everybody either. It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
But if what interests you is human potential, freedom, prosperity, time abundance, family, community, if that interests you, I invite you to look closer at this. Because see, I was successful in that corporate world before I met Krista. I would never go back to it. It almost killed me, stress-wise. The political games, working for a cause or something, putting my life into that, it didn't work for me. I mean, maybe it works for somebody, and I hope they keep doing it. We need people to make cars. We need people to run things. But this is for people who want something different, something more out of life. For people, look, how would it be if you could own your own business and have it be a family business, a real family business? In other words, your children, whether they're very young or getting out of school, what if you could create a solid business that when you pass on, you see, when we pass on, Life Force is not going to stop sending those thank you checks. They're going to keep sending them. They're going to send them to our families. They're going to send them to the charities we support. They're going to send them to whoever we designate. But even more importantly, should your children want to join you in business instead of going out and working, in the old economy, they're absolutely free to do that. They're absolutely your friends, your relatives. See, our best friends are involved in this. We work with our best friends, and we share the rewards with our best friends. I don't know, it's not for everybody, but I'll say this, if you take an honest look at it, I think you'll like what you see. See, our job here is not to sort of get you to do anything. That's not what we're about here. We don't actually need to work again ever in our life. We're done. We've been done financially for a long time. But our friends are in the room. We're here helping them. Because we want them to have what we have. Quite simple. Quite simple. And we're happy to do it. I actually love working. I'm too young to retire. I'm not interested in retiring. That's an old concept from an old economy. I love what I do. There's a man that said, you know, the day you start doing what you love will be the last day you work in your life. Well, I love what I do. But even more importantly, I'm on a mission. I want to spread the word. I want people to have access to this. We're in a new economy. It's a new time. The old economy's crumbling. You know, that's not news. But I will say this. I'm fascinated with what's emerging. And what's emerging is this industry called network marketing. For the first time, the average person has access to an above-average life. Above-average life. A life where you can do work you love, if you love this work, and I think most people do. You can make a real difference in the health of the people around you, and you can create a solid financial basis for your family, your community, and for the rest of your life. And start to make different choices. Maybe you don't want to live in the city, you want to live in the country, great. Maybe you want to live in the city and not in the country, great. You see, I can run a multi-million-dollar international business right here with my cell phone, anywhere I can get reception. And the funny thing is, unlike that corporate world, where the higher you go in that corporate pyramid, the more intense and the more structured and the more stressed it gets, here it's the other way around. It's like this. The more successful we become, the more free we are. The less demands on our time, the less stress. Again, that may not appeal to everybody, but if it appeals to you, I invite you to take it for a test drive. Take the products for a test drive. You know, you have no risk. You have 90 days. Use the body balance. If you get even a fraction of the benefits that we've gotten, great. You might want to keep taking it. If you use the weight management program and you get the benefits you're looking for, great. And if you don't, just simply call the company and they'll give you all your money back. Test drive the business. Don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Krista mentioned you can get 3 and yours is free. Simply get a couple of people on and see if they ship you the products for free. If they do, if your friends enjoy it, they think it's good value, they're happy to buy it, and you get yours for free, I would say the business is working for you. You want to take it to another level? It'd be our pleasure to help you do that. We provide what I'd consider world-class support, world-class training. There's absolutely no charge for that. We actually go to work for you, with you, in your business. As Krista mentioned, this is a cooperative business model. It's not competitive. We want to work side by side, shoulder to shoulder, to help you build your business. See, if you're a teacher, an educator, if you like serving people, you like contributing to people, this may be the perfect business for you. This is a business for people who enjoy being of service to others. We get a lot of different people in our business. Some do well, some don't. What we find are the people who enjoy helping others, recommending things, serving, educating, supporting. People tend to do very well here. So, yeah, we'd like to thank you for your time. And Francesca, I think you have some people to introduce. We'll be around if you have any questions. Thanks.